Now we are going to discuss one of the important class of .NET framework, that is the console class. If you see in our example, let's remove this. We don't require this, and let's make this program class as the startup project. Okay, see here we are using some class called console class, right? And you can see we are using some namespace. And if whenever you are developing any application, this console class plays an important role, right? So basically, this class, you can see it is a static class, and this class provides many methods and properties to work with the input and output stream. What is input and output stream means? Now, if you want to provide some input to the program, right? Suppose you are running one application, and whenever you are running an application, you want to perform an addition of two numbers, and you want to give the two numbers from the keyboard. Then this is nothing but this is input to the computer program. Then for that, the console class provides some method, right? And if you want to once you are performing the addition and you want to display the result in the output screen, this is nothing but output stream. And even while you are executing your program, it might be possible that you are doing some error. You are doing some wrong calculation, that is dividing one number by 0. In that case, it will throw some error. That is nothing but that error is also going to be displayed in the console screen or in the output screen. Now, see, whenever you want to learn any predefined classes and interfaces, always the best and possible way to learn those classes or to learn the classes and its methods, properties, fields, go to the documentation of that class. So how you will go to the documentation? See, if you want to learn console class, always right click on that class and select go to definition. If you go to the definition, it will take you to this place, right? Here it is nothing but class. So you can see it is a static class. What is static we will discuss later. But for now, you can remember that the console class is a static class. And for now, you have to remember one thing. Now, if a class is declared as static, then its members are also going to be static, right? Once a class is declared as static, then all the member of that class is by default static, and you can access the static member of a class by using the class. What it means now, okay, let us first understand the definition. What it exactly represents? So definition saying the static class represents the standard input, output, and error stream for the console application. And this class cannot be inherited. That means if you want to take some input, then this class provides some mechanism. If you want to display some output, this class provides some methods. You can use those methods to display the output. If is there any error, right? Then to throw that error so that you can see in the output screen, it also provides some mechanism, right? Again, this class cannot be inherited. Why? Because it is a static class. Static class cannot be inherited. Static class contains only static members. You can access the static member of a class by using the class name only, right? So if you see whenever you created any comps, by default it is static. Now you can see this is static, right? So this is also static, this is also static, this is static. So by default all the members are static in this class. As it is static, you can access these methods directly. See, here it is, we are creating one, so here it is providing one method WriteLine, and the type is static. As it is as this WriteLine method is static, you can access this method by using the class name directly. How? Now you need to provide the class name console.WriteLine to access this method. You understood or not? See, here I'm using console.WriteLine, console.read. So this WriteLine, it is nothing but a static method. This read it is nothing but a static method. This WriteLine and this method belongs to which class? This console class. As these methods are a static method, we can access them directly by using the class name console.method. Is that clear? What is this static class? It is a class. It provides some mechanism, some methods, some properties to take the user input, to give the user to give the output, and to handle the error, right? And this class is a static class, which means it cannot be inherited. What is inheritance? What is static? We will discuss later. But for now, it is a static class. And as it is a static class, it can contain only static members. So static member means the method, the properties which are defined using the static keyword is a static member. Now, if you go to the definition of this class, this method, you will see that this method is declared using the static keyword. So as it is declared using the static keyword, it is a static method. As it is a static method, you can access directly this method using the class name like this, class name dot method name. It is also, again, this read method, you can see this is a static method, right? The return type is in. So whenever you want to use this method, you can directly call this method by using the class name. What is the class name? The class name is console, like this,
Hello.
right? Yeah.
So sir, like we are saying that like if a method is like static, then like we do not need to create the object
Right.
of,
Object
yeah.
is not required. So
Okay, for
instead
the
of,
static one.
right.
Okay.
See, whenever you create a class, that class might be have some static members as well as some non-static members, right? If you want to access the non-static members, then you need object. But if you
Okay.
want to access the static member, then you need only the class name. But the other thing is that if your class is marked as static, then it cannot contain non-static members, right?
Okay.
And in this case, console class is marked as static. As the console class itself is marked as static, it means all the members inside this class are going to be static, right? So what it means? It means you cannot create an instance of this class. Right? So you cannot create an instance of this class. Why? Because it is saying cannot create an instance of the static class console. What it means? Now, if a class is marked as static, then you cannot create an instance. If you are unable to create an instance, then you cannot create the non-static members, right? That's why static class contains only static members. How you can access? By using the class name directly, right? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if you go to the console class, then you will see that there are many properties like title, like background color, foreground color, cursor size, right? So title, basically it is a property to set the title of the application, right? Now if I'm running the application, you will see no title is displaying here. It is displaying the online training, first console application, build debug, and the exe name. But instead of this, if you want to provide a meaningful name, then you will use the title attribute, right? And you can see the background color is black. You can see the text color is white, right? So if you want to change the background color, the text foreground color, then there are some properties available in the console class. Let's go to the class, right? Let's search for the title property, title, right? So this is the title property. You can see get or set the title to display in the console title bar. The string to be displayed in the title bar of the console. The maximum length of the title string is this number of characters, right? So whenever you want to learn any predefined methods or predefined classes or predefined properties, always the best way to learn from the assembly itself, right? As how you will do this, now just need to right click on the method, go to definition, and here you will find everything where this assembly is located, right? As part of this assembly, what are the members it defines, what is the use of each members, right? Everything you will find here. Okay, so from here only I have prepared these documents, right? You can see it gets or sets the title to display the console in the title bar. It returns the string to be displayed. This is the thing I have taken from the documentation. Similarly, background color, it gets or sets the background color of the console, right? Foreground color, it sets or gets the foreground color. Cursor size, it gets or sets the height of the cursor, right? So height of the cursor means, so you can see, so this is nothing but cursor size. So you can increase or decrease this cursor size using that property, right? Like this, there are many properties, and again we have many methods, right? So we have clear method. See,
Hello.
yeah, ask me.
So sir, like we can change the background color.
I will show you this thing in practical. So I'm just
Okay.
explaining the theory part right now. Whatever the properties and method I'm explaining now, I will show you everything in practical.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So now you can see there are many methods. One is clear method. So this document even I'm also getting from the same assembly, right? So I'm not showing you this thing in the assembly. I've written this so you can understand at one place. It is used to clear the console buffer and consoling, right? So whenever you run any application, right, and if you want to see console dot clear, right? So whenever I'm saying console dot read, it means it will take an input. Now, okay, do one thing. Okay, stop this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right now, let us run this. So first, welcome to C#.NET 1 is shown or yes or no. That means this statement is executed. And then it is stopped because console.read means it is asking you to put some input. I'm just giving one input P and I place. See, this is clear and it is stopped. Right? That means if you want to clear the screen, then you need to use this clear. And once you use this clear screen, nothing is going to be executed. It will stop from there only, right? So this clear screen is gone. So beep means if you want to make some beep sound, then you need to beep reset color, right? So write method means this method is used to write the specified string value to the output standard output string, right? If you want to display something in the console window, then you can use a write string or a write line. The difference between these two methods is that after displaying the output, it will stay in the same line. In this case, after displaying the string value, it will move the cursor to the next line. Right? If you have some variable, suppose you are declaring some integer, string, or some other kind of variable, and if you want to display the value, even you can use this method, right? And you have to provide it. And WriteLine you have to provide. Again, the difference between these two is that it will display the variable, whatever the value it hold in that variable, and will stay in the same line. And in this case, it will display the variable and it will move the cursor to the next line. And read method, read method means it will read a single character, right? Single character means what? Now, once you enter the single character, it will convert that character into its corresponding ASCII value and return that ASCII value. ASCII value, it is nothing but an integer value. So the return type of this method is going to be int. Right. So if you go to the definition of this int method, you will see that the return type is int, right? If I am entering a string value, then character A or character B, it will convert that value into its corresponding ASCII value and return that ASCII value. In our next article, in our next session, we are going to discuss what is ASCII, what is a Unicode, what is this data types, what is int, character float. Everything we are going to discuss in our next session. But for now, it is integer. Integer means it will return some number. Number means suppose I am entering capital A, it will return me 65 because 65 is the ASCII value of a character capital A, right? So, and what is read line, right? So in this case, what it will do, it will allow you to enter a string value, right? Whatever the string value you enter, it will read and it will read, and the data type is going to be string. And read key method means it will read a single character from the keyboard and returns that character. Read method will return the ASCII value of the character, right? And return the data type should be in as it returns the ASCII value. So these two methods are going to perform the same thing. It will allow you to enter one character and it will convert that character into its ASCII value and return that, right? Now let us see some of the examples to understand this, right? So I have already typed the code. Let me explain you the code. Right. So this program is to show the use of write line and write method. Right. First of all, you need to import the system namespace. Why? Because this write line method belongs to console class and this write method belongs to console class and the console class belongs to system namespace. If I want to use this console class write or write line method, then I need to import the using statement, that is system namespace, right? Then see, write line method print the value and move the cursor to the next line, right? That means in the output, okay, so that means in the output it will print hello and move the cursor to the next line, and the next line it will using write method. Write method print the value and stay in the same line, so it will print hi and it will stay here only. Then this write method, it will print as it is a write method, so it will print by and it will stay in the same line, right? And write line method, and here it is a write line method, right? So it will print a welcome and it will move to the next line. So here it is a write method, so it will print the statement and stay in the same line. That means when we execute this program, then we should get this output, right? So now let us run this application. Okay, we are getting some error. Why? Program specified first console application dot program. Okay, so right, because the namespace name is my first project, so you need to set this, right? Okay, now you should get this output if our understanding is fine. See, we are getting the same output or not? First it is printing hello. Hello, it is written in write line. So after printing hello, this cursor moves to the next line. In next line, we are using write. So it will print hi, stay in the same line. In the next statement, it is using write. So it will print by, stay in the same line. In the next statement, it is printing welcome. It will print welcome, move the cursor to the next line. And in the next statement, we are using write line. So you can see it print write line and the cursor is in the same line. Understood or not? What is the use of this write and write line method and the difference between them?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now let's say another program. See, in this case, we are providing the value as a string directly, right? In this case, if you see, if you look here, this is nothing but string value. But what if I want to declare some variable and if I want to print the value of those variable, then what we need to do? Suppose, okay, see here I'm creating a string variable. What is the name of this variable? Name. And what is data I'm storing? I'm storing product. And now if you want to print the value of this variable, then we have many options. If you only want the name, you can write this write line name. So if I'm using write line, say what will be the output? Okay, so output means it will name. What value name content? It content Pranay, right? So it will print Pranay, and as we are using write line, it will move the cursor to the next line. In the next line, it will print hello Pranay. So it will print hello, and then it will print Pranay, right? And in this case, it is also going to print hello and Pranay. So hello and Pranay. See, what is the difference between these two? See, here you are using the plus operator and you are concatenating the string. But here we are using the advanced feature of C#. Here I'm not going to use a plus operator, and which doesn't make any sense. I'm using dollar symbol and I can provide the variable using the curly braces. So at runtime, this name will be replaced by Pranay. And here also name is going to replaced by Pranay. So once you execute this application, you should get this out. So if you have a variable, then you can print the value of the variable in this way. Right? And the cursor is in the same line. Why? Because here we are using the write. So cursor pointer is same line or not? Right. If instead of write, if I am using the write line method, then the cursor should move to the next line. It is moved to the next line or not? Yes or no? Yes, it moves to the next line because we are using right line. Now you understand how to print the string value or how to print the value of a variable. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So next, now suppose you are developing an application, it is not always that the value is going to be hard coded, right? So it's always better to provide the user to input the values at runtime, right? In that case, what we will do, we are going to use some method called a read line, right? Like read and write and write line, we have something called a read line. So what is the use of this read line method? It will allow the user to enter a string from the keyboard, right? So what in this program we are going to do? We are giving one message to the user. Hey, Mr. User, please enter your name. Once he sees this in the screen, enter your name, the user will enter his name. Once he enter, that name will be stored in the string variable. And then we are printing this name here, right? So this console.readLine method, this readline method is nothing but to read a string from the keyboard, right? Now let's run this application. Enter your name. I'm entering Pranay. So once I enter Pranay, okay, so you will see that the value will be stored in this name variable. Okay, Pranay, enter. Now come to the browser. Now, if you put your cursor over the name variable, you will see that the value is Pranay. That means whatever you entered from the keyboard, that will be stored in the variable called name. Now we are printing that name value here, so it will display hello Pranay, right? Let's continue and you will see that output here. So you understand how to take the input from the keyboard? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. But the problem is that if I want to accept some integer number from the keyboard, then what will happen? Because whenever we are entering some value, it is going as a string, right? But if you want some integer like 10, 20, then how you can do this, right? So in that case, let us see another example, right? Okay, see, so here I'm asking the user to enter two numbers. The user will enter two number 10. So because here we are providing console.readLine method. This console.readLine method, give me 1 minute, I will be back. Okay, so this console.readLine method is always going to read the data from the keyboard as a string, right? And if you want to convert the data into integer, right? If I'm entering a, if I'm entering 2, if I'm entering 5, everything will be entered or everything will be treated as a string, right? What it means now, whenever I'm inputting something from the keyboard, it means I'm giving some string. And if that string might be an alphabet, might be alphanumeric, or might be only numeric. And if it is only numeric, then we can convert that string to integer by using this convert.toInt method. Going forward, we will discuss what are the different ways to convert a string value to integer. But now just remember, this is one of the way to convert the integer to string. That means whenever you are giving some number, if you are entering 10, then it will read as a string. Then that string will be converted to integer by using that convert.int32. Similarly, again, I'm reading another string. So that string again will be converted into integer. So once I read these two integer from the keyboard, then I'm doing some addition, number 1 plus number 2. Then I'm showing the result. See, I'm here showing the result in two ways, right? I'm using the dollar symbol here. So I can use parentheses to provide the variables value, to display the variables value. Even I can also use an expression. So using parentheses, you can display the result variable value. Even you can display, you can do some arithmetic operation, or you can put some expression and whatever the outcome that will be displayed here, right? So in this case, the result will contain whatever the input you have entered from the keyboard, and even the same thing will be displayed here, because if you are entering 10 and 20, result will contain 30, that 30 will be displayed here. And the same thing is also 10 plus 20, output is 30, 30 will be displayed here, right?
Can I ask something?
Sure, sure, sure. You can ask.
Sir, when you int number one dot equals to convert dot console dot write line, and here in using dollar sign. So what kind of this thing we are using?
So what is this dollar is exactly you want to know?
Yes.
See. Okay, so to make you understand what I'm doing, I'm creating another statement and I'm just removing dollar. Right. Right. So once I remove dollar, then this will be treated as a single string. This will not
Yes.
be treated result as a variable. Right. So
Okay.
this will be treated as a single string. So if you are printing this, then it will print the sum is this colon symbol number one and number two to whatever in the console. Okay. To make you understand, so what I'm doing here, I'm just putting I'm commenting this and I'm running the application. So you can see whatever I have typed that will be displayed here. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
But if I'm using dollar, then you have a chance, right? You have a chance to make this string dynamic, right? To make this
Yes.
string dynamic means at runtime, whatever the value this variable hold, that will be replaced. At runtime, whatever the number one hold and the number two hold, both are add together and the result will be displayed here, right? So you understand the difference? What is the use of this dollar sign?
I understand. I am asking here, what is called that kind of concept?
So this is string interpolation, right? So if you want to interpolate the string and if you want to display the string as a dynamic string, then in that case we will discuss. So going forward, we are going to discuss this dollar symbol. We have something called the @ symbol, right? Going further, we'll discuss this thing in detail. For now, I'm just showing you the different ways to write the code. If you want to dynamically see in this case, if you are not using this, then the other approach is also there. So what is the other approach? You can write like this: string interpolation, the concept. You can type like this,
Yeah. Yes, sir.
right? So you can even do the same thing like this. But this will make you feel better, right? So why should I am going to write this result here, right? If the string contains multiple variables, right, and if you want to replace the value, then you have to write this multiple times. Instead of what? Now we can type the variable value immediately. Wherever you want the result, we will write that place only, right? So in this case, so this is the better way of writing a dynamic string, right? The result or the number one, number two will be replaced with its actual value, and this concept is called string interpolation. That we will discuss going further in detail, right? For now, we are just yeah. So okay, so now if I'm going to run this application, okay, it will ask me to enter two numbers. So I'm in 10, I'm pressing enter. I'm entering 20, I'm pressing enter. See, so I'm getting the sum is 30, the sum is 30. But for the other two print statement, whatever the string is defined, that is printed as it is. Because we have not used $. As we have not using $, so this result, this number and number, it will be treated as a string. If once you use $, then this will make what is the actual value, this result hold, that will be replaced. This is a dynamic string you can consider. This is a static string. That means any number of time you run this application, this value is going to be same. This is static. But every time you run the application, the output or the string is going to be changed. So this is a dynamic string. You understood or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is how you are going to take. So here we are taking some read line and converting to integer. So to convert, I am using this. To convert integer, I'm using converter to int. Apart from that, there is something called typecasting. There is something called a try parse, right? There are many other options are available to convert some one data type value to another data type. With further, we will discuss this thing. For now, you just remember this only this approach, that is converter to string. Again, you can see we are accessing this to int 32 method directly on the convert class. Convert class. So can anybody tell me what is this? What kind of method is this? It is a static method or non-static method?
Static one.
Yes, it is a static method because we are directly calling on the convert class, means it is a static method. If you go to the definition of this method, you will see that the method type is static. And if you going further, you will see that the class is convert. That means this convert is a class and this is a static method, and we are accessing this static method by using the convert class. What is the use of this method? Now this int 32 is going to convert whatever the string you input into integer. It will only convert if it is a numeric, but if you enter alphanumeric value, then what will happen?
Sir,
Okay. Yeah, ask me. Anybody having any question?
yes, sir. Sir, how can we find only by seeing the statement this is a static or non-static?
Okay, so if you go to the method definition,
No, sir. No, sir. We don't want to go anywhere.
okay, see,
Yes.
it is saying that convert the specified string representative of a number to equivalent bit sign. A 32 into equivalent, so okay, overflow value is new. See, if you are able to access the method directly by using the class name, right, without creating object, it means it is a, and if you are not getting any compile time error, means it is a static method.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Right.
Correct. Sir. Right.
Correct. No? But if you are getting some compile time error, right? Okay, let me clarify your doubt. Suppose I'm creating another class, let's say example, and this class having some method, let's say public void some method,
Yeah.
right? And some method. And here I'm printing one statement, let's say some statement, right?
Yes.
Some statement. As you can see, the method is not static. Now, if I am trying to access this method, example, by using this sum method, then you will see some compile time error.
Yes.
You are getting some compile time error now. What is saying? An object reference is required for the non-static field method property. That means it is saying it is a non-static method, and if you want to access this method, then an instance is required, an object is required. But if you are not getting any error, means it is a static method. In this case, we are not getting any error, means it is a static method. And even if you go and there is something called some option called pick definition, right? So you can right click on the method and you can select this pick definition, then it will show you the definition. So the definition itself saying it is a static method.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Clear?
right. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So now, so in this case, we are entering some number. It is we are entering only numeric number, so it is able to do the calculation and it will give us the result. But what if we enter alphanumeric? Then in that case, it will throw some error. So enter two numbers. I am entering ABC. So ABC is not a numeric value, or ABC 1, 2, 3. It is not a numeric value. So in that case, you will get some error. So this error, what you are seeing, right? So this error, what you are saying, is also thrown by the console class only, right? So you are saying the input string was not in correct format. So we are getting some error or not. This error string is also handled by console class, right? So the thing is that you need to remember. So whenever you are trying converting the data, right? If you are entering the converting into integer, the whatever input you are providing from the keyboard should be numeric. If you are entering alphanumeric or only alphabet, then you will get this kind of exception. Again, there are options also. There are available options also in C#. to handle this type of exception. There is a concept called exception handling, right? In that scenario, we will discuss how to handle different kind of exception, whether we need to handle the exception or not, right? So everything we will discuss in that article. For now, we are not going to talk that much, but for now, whenever you are doing some, if you are taking some input from the keyboard, if you are converting to integer type, then provide the input data as integer type. If you are providing some alphanumeric data, then you will get some error. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we have discussed some of the read method, read line method, right? We have discussed some write method, write line method, right? Now, as I mentioned, it is also having some properties, right? Some background color, some foreground color, some title. So I'm making the background color as blue. I'm making the foreground color as white. I'm making the title as understanding console class, right? Then I'm using one BIP method, right? So let me put a debugger here. Let me run this application. Right now you can see what is the title, understanding console class. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. And what is the background color? It is blue. Yes or no?
Yes.
And what is the foreground color? What is the text color? It is white. Yes or no?
Yes.
So this means this background color, foreground color, title property are used to set the background color of the console. The foreground color, I mean the text color, and title means nothing but this is the title. And now whenever this console.beep statement is executed, one beep sound will come. Okay, please observe carefully the sound. You will got the sound or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these are the things you need to understand regarding the console class. Okay. So I have already, okay. Now let us understand one complicated example, and then I will give you one assignment, and then we'll complete the today's session. Okay. So basically what is the, what is this example is about is, we're creating one application where we are asking the user to enter the employee details. He's going to enter the employee ID, employee name, employee salary, employee address, and employee department. Once he enters the information, then we're displaying those data into the console, right? So you can see, so we are taking the employee ID as an integer number. So we are converting to integer 32. We are taking the name as a string, so no conversion is required because by default, whatever we enter, it is entered as a string. We are taking the salary as integer, we are taking the address as a string, and we are taking the department as a string, right? So whenever you are taking the thing as a string, conversion is not required. If you want to convert something into integer, then we need to use convert.int32 method, right? And once whatever information we entered, then we are displaying those entered information on the console. So now let's run the application, right? Okay, so it is asking to enter the employee ID. I am entering 1001. Employee name, I'm entering Pranay. Enter salary, I'm entering 1 lakh. Enter address, I'm entering BBSR. And employee department, I am entering IT. Right? So whatever information I have entered, those informations are displayed like this. Is there any doubt regarding this example?
No, sir.
Right? So now I have one task for you. So the task is, see, already I have provided the thing, I mean the solution, but this is the task. So before looking at the code, say you have to practice. So you have to write a program where you need to enter the student registration number. You need to enter the name. Then you need to enter the 3 marks. I mean subject of 3 subject mark, mark 1, mark 2, mark 3. Then you need to calculate the total mark, and you need to calculate the average mark, and then you need to print the student details in the same, the registration number, name, and the total mark and the average mark on the console. The output should be like this. Enter student registration number. I will able to enter the registration number, name, enter mark of 3 subjects, subject 1, subject 2, subject 3. Then I need to calculate the sum of these 3 number and the average mark of this number. After calculating, I need to display the things like this. Registration number is this, name equal to this, total mark is this, and average is this. This is a task, or you can say assignment for you. So before looking at the code, so you just need to try this by your own, right? If you are facing any difficulty, then you need to look at the code. Otherwise,